This video, I'm going to be sharing with you how meaning is running every area of your life, how you can transcend meaning and get straight into the love frequency. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can get out of reasoning, out of understanding that meaning is controlling every area of your life, and how you can then get into that of love. And in order to reference this, what I'm gonna do for a second, let me see if it works. I'm gonna kind of move to the side right here. I'm gonna point right, oh, look who it is. Okay, now you're in the focus, okay? You stop that, She's gonna be in the background doing stuff while I film this video. Okay, I'm gonna get back in the middle though, because for some reason, this is a new camera, okay? But I've gotten out of meaning and I'm just in the love frequency and I'm waiting for it to focus now. And I think it's going to do it here in a second. Is it going? No, I need to. Okay, there we go. So, for understanding this of reasoning, of understanding meaning, let's first off understand that this is a powerful understanding for how reality works. This is the truth of reality. This is even what they consider to be enlightenment. Enlightenment is when you understand that life in of itself has no meaning other than the meaning you give it. This is both the most powerful understanding you've ever had in the world, and also it can be real sad if you look at it from a certain point of view. But meaning is neutral except for the meaning we give things. So this is why sometimes you may see certain people in life have something horrible happen, but then they give it a positive meaning and they experience a positive effect from it. That was me. I had a very traumatic childhood and I gave it a meaning for years, and it was something that like bogged me down. But then what happened is I gave it a new meaning, and the moment I gave it a new meaning, it transformed from the inside out. I went from somebody that was like had power over me. I was a victim of everything that was happening, and I went from that to then having it allow it to work for me. I started to see that it actually led to me having more of a depth to myself, and it led to my spiritual awakening. So the meaning that I gave it in one moment had power over me. I changed the meaning of why it happened, of why I had an abusive ex-stepmom in my life, and started to realize that it happened for me. It happened so that I could go through my spiritual awakening. It happened so I could take my power back. And the moment I made that realization was the moment it transformed emotionally for me. I started to relate completely different to it, but it's the same situation. Now, when it comes to life in general, what matters in life is not what happens, but it's how you respond to what happens. And it's the meaning you give what happens. And your life becomes more meaningful when you start to give more meaning to your life. I was recently reading a book. I was actually listening to an audiobook called Man's Search for Meaning. Babe, what's the name? Is Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl. And the book is very powerful. It has to do with understanding the meaning we give things. And it's coming from somebody that went through the Holocaust, that was tortured, that witnessed his whole family and everyone he knows going through the same type of thing, yet he gave that a different meaning, and therefore it transformed his life from the inside out, and he taught other people how to give that meaning, and that transformed their lives as well. So it's about understanding that life is what you make it. Now that may seem a little bit discompassionate or not passionate to say something like that, like you go through that much pain, but it's about understanding the different perspectives. And that's something he found through going through a lot of pain. But in many ways, when we change the meaning of something, we change the kind of experience we're having. And when you start to give things more positive meaning in your life, that's when your life's going to begin to transform in a very powerful way. You know, the analogy I always use is the idea of a rainy day. A rainy day is a completely 100% neutral idea, has no built-in good meaning or bad meaning. But the meaning you give it is going to be the result of how you feel about it. You may give it a positive meaning, you'll feel elevated emotion. You give it a negative meaning, you'll use it as an excuse to have a bad day. Or you give it no meaning whatsoever and you don't feel one way or the other about it because there's a neutral meaning to it. Well, in the same way, the meaning that you give things is going to determine your state of being, especially if your state of being is dependent on what happens in the external world. So when you change your relationship to the outside by understanding the outside is a reflection of the inside anyways, you can then transform it. And the way you transform it is by first off changing the meaning. Changing the meaning as to why things happen. Things don't happen to you. Things happen for you, because when things happen for you, you're able to grow. And when you start to see things as a part of you, it makes it much easier for you to transform. So, why are you laughing back there? It's because you're starting to, okay. She's starting the microwave, but apparently, anyways.
Go on.
See, I don't give that any negative meaning. She's starting a microwave, okay? She's going to cook that vegan Thai food, whether the vegan Thai food likes it or not.
And finish it. And
probably finish it, because that garlic rice be bomb. But the meaning can change. You know, it's funny, I was listening to a Tony Robbins talking about a seminar he used to do. He used to do the seminar in like San Francisco, and there would be this, he'd be in the middle of running the seminar, and every like hour there'd be this really loud, it keeps, I think it keeps focusing on you.
You told me to be back here.
Okay, no, I think I'm holding its gaze right now.
I'm to live my life.
You live your life. I'm just making sure it stays focused on me.
I'm getting out of control.
It's okay, no, you're doing good. You keep making that vegan Thai food.
We're good to go.
The meaning that these people were giving, there was a train station, and every half an hour there'd be a train that would go, and they'd be in the middle of the seminar and be like, and it'd be really, really loud. And what happened is people would then get angry at it. And he said what he said was, change the meaning of what you're giving this loud train that's passing right now. So what they did is every time it would pass, they would prime themselves to be excited about it, to be happy about it. And within about 2 or 3 times of doing it, it didn't work. But after about 3 to 4 to 5 times of doing it, people started to feel elevated emotion because they gave it a new meaning.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that a pretty cool analogy?
I like that.
I just made it up. Just kidding. It really happened to Tony Robbins.
Actually, you give it a different meaning.
You give it a different meaning.
It's fun. It's like, oh my God, train.
Train, yay! And that's what he did, is everyone like cheer when train would go by.
I love it.
But these things are all neutral ideas. You know, it's just that we agree to what everyone else would think about it. It's like most people will be mad about the train going by, so I'm going to be mad too. That's the path of least resistance. So therefore we're mad. We accept the reality we're given, and it's easy for us to stay within the social conditioning. Someone loses their job, they could be really depressed about it, because we're told in society, be depressed about losing your job. But instead, what if you realize that job you had, you didn't really care about it. You forced yourself to go in every day because you thought you had to. You weren't even really passionate about it. And what you're beginning to become aware of is that you want to go for something you are passionate about. So if you change the meaning of that, you then change the relationship that you get with it. So you could lose your job and it could be the best thing ever, because that's going to have you go full force towards what you're actually passionate about. It's going to have you start to look for questions that you never really asked yourself. You're going to start looking at the library for things you could be interested in. And you never would have done that if you were still in that mediocre job that you went to on autopilot and you weren't that passionate about it. So the meaning you give anything in your life is up to you. But what meaning are you going to give it? Because the only difference between me and like some other people that have also been through childhood trauma is just the meaning we give it. Yes, some of the things were not pleasant. Yes, there may be a story tied to it. It may be stuff that we wish didn't happen. But if we can see how it actually served us to become stronger, and we can forgive whatever happened, then we can actually transform it and help other people to do it. It makes so much more sense to me now, because I help people that have been through a lot of childhood trauma, that have been through things. I help them go through it too, because I've been through it and come out on the other side. And now other people can also see that it happens. Not from somebody that's just this positive person that everything was given to him and he's some entitled guy, but it's more so, no, he's been through it. He knows, he's had reasons not to feel happy or not to feel positive, but he did that, so I can do it too. So it gives other people permission. When it comes to this, there's that chart that I share, and on it you'll see shame, fear, guilt, anger, neutrality. Neutrality is a powerful spot. And then over neutrality, what you'll see is that of reasoning. Reasoning is the meaning. It's the meaning we give things. The meaning you give things determines what you shift to. That, I can point to it because I don't think the camera's going to go over there. That wave in the background represents what's called a wave of success. It's a reality transurfing term. And what it means is when something good happens, you give it a positive meaning that this thing means that things are on the up and up. And the next time something happens, you keep giving it that positive meaning until you create for yourself a wave of success that carries you where you want to go because of the positive meaning you give things that happen. And you can apply that in any area of your life, but meaning is very powerful. But you see the scale of consciousness has that of reasoning, which is the meaning. Above that is love. When it comes to the frequency of love, love doesn't need reasoning. So the way that where I was getting with this is we did something called San Pedro today, which gets you really to the core of the vibration of what you feel. And it brings up things, maybe some things that weren't processed. Some people would call that shadow work. But it makes you realize a lot of the reasonings, a lot of the meaning you may have given things in your past. Maybe outdated meanings you gave things, like I can only be worthy when XYZ happens, or this is the kind of person I am, and like levels of identity. There was one guy there that was really intending to get rid of an identity he wasn't aware of that he had. We were explaining it's about integrating yourself and integrating who you are and understanding that you don't need reasons to feel happy. You don't need reasons to love someone. You can just be present to the moment. If there's anything I'd say that the experience today really showed me is like just being present to the moment, realize it's perfect the way that it is. Realize that right now is perfect the way that it is. You don't need to control it. You can allow it to be. You don't need to put yourself in a certain category in your mind of making you appear a certain way to other people, you know. When I went to this ceremony, I was there with many other people, and it was really cool because we got to see a lot of people open up, and then also I was able to kind of open up in a way and see a lot of the filters that I had put up about myself of how I thought I had to be around people, and especially since like YouTube and growing on YouTube and having a certain perception of how people think I need to be, you know. And what I realized is that all of this has to do with being present to the moment and not being in the head. More so just being happy because you choose to be happy. Letting go of the meaning you give things. Letting go of the labels. Letting go of the way things should be, need to be. Just knowing that everything is perfect the way it is. And when we tap into understanding that, we tap into the core frequency of who you are, which is the love frequency. The love frequency is at the core of your heart center. It's a vibrational feeling. And when we were going through this experience today, it was like there was this vibration flowing through. And sometimes it would have stuff release, or sometimes you'd feel emotional, but it was bringing through and bringing out very positive emotion, very maybe emotion that was suppressed, but nonetheless, it was about letting go and surrendering, not trying to control the moment. And I guess the point of this video is understanding that you can let go of the reasons you think you need to be happy. You can let go of the conditions you may have as to how people need to be or how you think people should be. You can unconditionally love yourself. You can unconditionally focus on ways of giving yourself more love and understanding that you have to fill up your cup before you can fill up other people's cup. But you don't need reasons to love yourself. You don't need to accomplish a certain amount of success for you to love yourself. You don't need to make everyone else happy in your life for you to love yourself. You can love yourself simply by being you. And by you loving yourself, you then help everyone else anyways. By you loving yourself, then success comes easier. By you loving yourself, everything else trickles around. And the meanings you give things will naturally be high vibrational in meaning. And you won't misinterpret things. Reality is a reflection of what you believe you deserve. Reality is a reflection of who you are. And when you're embodying that core frequency of love, everything in your life will begin to work for you. And you don't need reasons. So understand that meaning in your life, the emotions you feel, has to do with the meaning you're giving things in your life. Maybe outdated meanings. But understand that you can have more unconditional love. You don't need reasons to be happy. You don't need reasons to give yourself permission to feel successful. You don't need reasons to feel worthy. You can feel worthy because you exist. You feel happy because that's who you naturally are. You can love yourself because the more you love yourself, the more shadow work you do, the more you'll see limiting beliefs come up. But at the same time, the more you'll elevate your life to a new level of vibration. So this video is kind of all over the place, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, when you're thinking about vibration, think about it in terms of the meaning you give things. Changing the meaning you give things and knowing that you can integrate things in your life, that will transform your life alone, but then be willing to give away everything of a lesser vibration. Even the meanings that are positive. Einstein himself calibrated at 499. out of 1,000 in that scale of consciousness, which is the top level of reasoning you can get to, because he was an intellectual genius. And he tapped into that of love, and he talked a little bit about it. But in order for him to really get into unconditional love, he would have had to let go of all of intellectual ideas, all of equations, everything. And you let that go by surrendering, by understanding that we don't need reasons. They are powerful tools. We use them in our life, but the highest level is just being. Not thinking, not doing, it's being. So the more we focus on being is the more we then begin to transform our life in a very powerful way. Give things in your life the meaning you choose to give it. Not the meaning other people think you should be giving to it. Not the meaning that you, maybe your parents gave things in your life. The meaning you choose to give it, but then understand at the same time, you can also let things be neutral, and you could just tap into an unconditional love vibration. And the more you allow yourself to soak into the present moment is the more you embody that anyway. So if you want to meditation that will help you to raise your vibration, it's in the top of the description box below. Let's do it for 21 days. I think it'll change your life. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. You can follow me right here on Instagram. I post twice a day there as well. So if you want native content, you can get some there. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so you can see the daily videos that I do. Other than that, Leora, do you have any last things you want to say?
I think we should order more vegan Thai food.
We need more vegan Thai food. Let's just be honest here. Priorities, okay. Other than that, we love you. If we had enough vegan Thai food to share with you, we would, I promise. But we'll order more, we'll get on it. All right, peace, much love, and namaste.